Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. I feel like we just did this a couple days ago, but this time we watched the same movie.
Oh, I goofed. I was the big goober.
We tried to record like 2 days ago, sat down, it got into the episode, and we were like,
We got
when
to
we
the
watched.
intro of the movie, and then I went, "Oh no!"
So, Ben ended up watching Mickey 17. I watched Mission Impossible, but this week we're doing Mickey 17.
And later this
And
week, we're doing Mission Impossible.
Um, so, yeah, Mickey 17 is a 2025. I had to catch myself there. I feel like this movie came out sooner, but no, it's because it was in development for freaking forever. Kept getting pushed back, kept getting pushed back. But directed by Bong Joon-ho, uh, who is one of my favorite directors. So I was very excited to see this movie. Memories of Murder is like on my top five, top four, whatever service you want to use or ranking system. It's one of the best films of all time. I will fight on a hill for that. So super excited for this, and I feel like Robert Pattinson is just on a tear lately. He's I feel like he gets a little shit for like being in Twilight and Harry Potter, but like he is a very good actor, I will say.
Yeah, no, he's honestly has been very on a very impressive streak.
Yeah, I mean even the Batman. I feel like he stood out in the Batman as like a I didn't really like him as Bruce Wayne. I
No,
mean,
not where that what that was.
oh, okay. I
My takes
it's
on my takes on favorite Batmans are not. They'll get me
I mean
flamed on me.
he's
I'm a huge Batman. Obviously, you can see behind me, but my Batman takes will get me flamed and fried on the internet because I don't agree with a lot of internet Batman fans, and that
I I really liked
I
Batman or the
I
Batman.
loved the Batman. Um,
I don't know if he's
I
like a
thought
great Bruce Wayne, but like it was a
counter
little emo at times, but it's a really good
counterpoint.
take
It's
on
year
Batman.
one. He gets to the end of the movie and kind of gets the lesson of like, hey, maybe literally he's standing like in the light of day and kind of gets the thing of like maybe I can't be, whatever the shadows or whatever. And I think that reflects both him as Batman and as Bruce Wayne. When the mayor's like, hey, it would be nice of you to be at events and things like this and that. I think that's kind of the whole point was the first movie is he's not, and I don't know if they ever make a second movie because
It's getting the
this has
Mickey
been
17
just
treatment.
this has just been dragging nuts through broken glass to wait for this fucking sequel. I think the whole point would be that like in the sequel, he's now more kind of the aloof playboy Bruce Wayne. Maybe he's still emo-y at heart, but you'll see more of him doing like billionaire playboy stuff and being kind of more out in the public. I think that was the whole point. But if not, I could be wrong. But that was what I took from the kind of the end of the movie was that it was like the whole point of it was him learning both as Batman and as Bruce Wayne that maybe you have to be out in the public and an open symbol.
This so Mickey 17 was written in 2021 based off an early draft of the book which came out in 2022. Um Pattinson signed on or was like announced in May of 2022. They finished filming it in January of 2023. So, and then it was supposed to come out, I think it was supposed to originally maybe come out in 2023 or 2024 and then was like pushed back and then pushed back again to like the beginning of this year. Um, and I believe it did okay. It grossed 132 million worldwide on a 118 million dollar budget, which is okay. I feel like it didn't perform as well as people were hoping. Oh well, it would have needed to get 240 to 300 million worldwide to break even on marketing and production. So uh, they're going to count it as a loss there, which sucks because I feel like we need to go support movies. As I watch it from home, we need to go support movies that are interesting and original. I mean, granted, it's not an original idea because it's an adaptation of a book, but it's an original like movie. It's not Marvel fucking 100 or whatever, like it's not Star Wars episode 12 or so it's like it does suck when you get an original idea from a great director who has won best picture, best director. You get this cool concept, big names in the film, and then it's like, well, it's opening against fucking whatever, Lilo and Stitch or some shit, and it's like, oh well, people are gonna go see Lilo and Stitch. Sorry, but Mickey 17 is the story of a human expedition to colonize space. Mickey Barnes joins as an expendable, who is an employee who is set to die and be replicated as many times as necessary to help advance human life on this expedition. And it was written by Bong Joon-ho, based off the book by Edward Ashton. I believe the book is Mickey 7 rather than Mickey 17. Stars Robert Pattinson, Stephen Yeun, Michael Monroe, Patsy Farron. What's his face? Mark Ruffalo was kind of a surprise to me.
I was like, I feel like there's several things on here that we're glossing over.
It's very out of order on here. I think the Toni Collette, Naomi Aki, who plays Nasha, your boy that you were talking about when we went to record the other day.
Yeah, I was watching the movie. It's the guy in the pigeon suit, like towards the end of the movie. I was watching it, and I'm like, this guy looks really familiar. And then it was like, wait a minute, is this Tim Key, the the British actor comedian? I was like, is it? It kind of looks like him. And then I went to look at IMDb, and I was like, oh my god, it is Tim Key.
It's funny because on like Wikipedia, it's like Tim Key was cast after a phone call because Bong wanted him specifically for that role, which is like, all right, it's kind of like a
kind of hilarious,
goofy bit part. This movie was a lot more comedic than I
makes sense
was expecting.
On the casting too of the time that Cameron Britton was cast in this movie, because like 2 or 3 years ago, that dude was just in everything.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That dude rode that Mindhunter high.
Mindhunter train.
Into Umbrella Academy, into this, that, and the other thing. And it was like, everywhere you looked, it was just like, oh my god, he's in this. Oh my god, he's also in that. Oh my god, hey, he's in this. And it's like, oh shit, he's still in everything. Well, actually, no. It seems like now he's really kind of just fallen off. Like, you don't see him in anything.
I feel like part of it seems like, is like, he got into Umbrella Academy, and then it was like kind of dwindled because the series is starting to end. Looks like he's done quite a few series as like a recurring character. But as far as movies, I mean, since Mindhunter, he did The Girl in the Spider's Web, A Man Called Otto, and this. So he's only done like 3 movies.
Yeah, I think he was just one of those like, that he popped up in TV for like left and right.
Yeah, it's the God, who is it right now? Fucking really really good looking dude. He was in that rom-com with Sydney Sweeney, also her, feel like she's just
Oh,
fucking
you're
into
talking about
everything. The dude from like Texas. I can't think of his fucking name.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell. That's it. Glenn Powell. Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Austin Butler.
This dude is like a character actor that gets cast in everything.
Yeah.
You're talking about like A-listers that are in movies that
Yeah.
are making money. Like, there's a big
True.
difference. That's
God,
like
I can't
that's
even
like
think of, like, a-
it's like seeing Steve Buscemi be like character actory stuff and being like, yeah, I mean you've got all those people like Denzel and Will Smith and who are those other guys that are like, you know, A-list celebrities now.
Hey, you just wait till
Reel it in.
Cameron Britton is a A-list celebrity, Ben, and then this will come back to bite you in the butt.
Hey, cool, man. I hope so. I like his stuff. I just, like I said, it seemed like he went from nothing to being in everything and then disappeared off the face of the earth. His supporting actor star shone way too bright, way too fast.
Burned out quickly.
Yep.
Did you know anything about this movie going in?
Nope. Not a clue.
No. Oh. Okay. So that's fun.
I'll be honest.
Because I feel like
don't follow much of what movies are even coming out anymore. So, you brought this up, and I was like, huh. And then I saw 2025 and went, when did this come out? To be fair,
like
when this
2
movie
months
came
ago.
out, well, when it first came out, was it like February or March?
January, I think.
Oh, it was January?
January. Right? No, March. March, you're right.
All right, in my defense, I have a 2-month-old, so like between January and March, I was paying no attention to what movies were happening.
I had just been, like, as a big fan of Bong Joon-ho, I was, like, waiting for this movie to come out. So, once it kept getting pushed back, I was like, fuck, all right, okay, okay. So, I feel like my hype, and this is one of those things where it's like, oh, you watch trailers, you're anticipating a movie, like, really highly, and then I feel like you watch the movie, and you're kind of like, I had these higher hopes. So, not to say that I didn't thoroughly enjoy this movie, but I do feel like it was one of those ones where I had super high expectations, and they may have been set too high for the film. I did not know that Toni Collette or Mark Ruffalo were in this movie, and when they show up, in like the first big speech, and Mark Ruffalo's doing like a Trump impression sort of. I was like, "Oh my god, what the hell?" And it's like the way he like turns to her all the time when they're talking, and they like whisper, and he's like, "Should I go hard here? Should I turn it on?" I was like, it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. For as much as I know, I know Bong Joon-ho stated that it was not. None of the characters were meant to be mirroring active politicians. There's no way Mark Ruffalo did not base that off of a mix between Trump and like a couple of other far out there politicians.
Yeah, it's just like there's just times when he's like talking, and like kind of like his what's that? It's not like diction, I guess.
Yeah.
Or it's like cadence that kind of gets into like Trumpy territory, where I'm like, I feel like I could see where you're going here, but yeah, it was. I don't know. I love a good sci-fi movie, so this movie was like tickling that itch. and like I kind of commented a second ago where I was like, I didn't realize how comedic this movie was going to be. I feel like it was a lot more goofy than what I was expecting, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But it was pretty, I guess, dark comedy. Because there's like points where oh my god, the worst was when Mickey like walks in with when 18 and Nasha are like high on what oxy or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're on
and then
the
she's and
like
then she's like trying to get
pure oxygen or whatever.
yeah. And then she like tries to bring him in for like a three-way, and he like starts 18 starts twisting 17's hair. I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
in this movie?
that at that point I was also just kind of like, what am I watching here?
Well, and then immediately after that,
I really wish we
Kai
could have picked
who
Mission
was
Impossible.
like right before that, the like Kai girl who was like for some reason so thirsty for Mickey, like it tries to like kiss him, and he goes back to Nasha, and then immediately after that she's like, well, since there's two of them, like you take 18, I'll take 17. What? What is happening here?
Yeah, and she was like weirdly, I don't know. That just seemed kind of odd to me that you were so quick to just be like, well, I mean, we can just do, split 50-50.
Yeah, after she's like, he's a multiple, I have to turn him in. Like,
yeah,
it is my duty as an agent. Also, at the end did they clone Jennifer?
That's what it looked like to me. Like that was like the last clone or whatever that they did.
Yeah. That seems a little sketchy.
It definitely did come across that way to me as well. Where I was like, wait a minute, isn't that the girl who was crushed by the rock? Oh, wait a minute. And then it was like, oh shit, yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I was wait, hold on a second.
No, hold on here. Wait.
I wish we got more of Stephen Yeun as Timo. I love him as like an actor. I just feel like he just has like this like charisma where he's not too. I mean, like Walking Dead, his character is fairly pretty much serious the whole time, but like I feel like when he does do lighthearted or like comedic work, he has such a good like charisma.
Oh yeah,
and
he's
it just
very
comes off, like, so.
He's very much. He has a good,
especially this character
gift for comedy.
Yeah, like in this character where he's like kind of like a shady, like shitty friend.
Yeah,
he like plays so well.
Oh, sick! Can I have your flamethrower?
What's it like dying? Oh, sorry. The line only goes this far.
Yeah.
All right, asshole. Well, and then he's like just gonna fucking cut him up because the butcher dude or whatever is writing him letters. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right.
Well, it's not that he wrote him letters; it's that someone left the letter at his doorstep, which means that there was someone on the someone on the airplane who was going to try and kill him.
Yeah. And then he doesn't.
Well, yeah.
Then that guy gets thrown into the what is it, the cycler?
Yeah, he does eventually try, but he just fails.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird movie because it kind of begins as like this. I feel like this ethical thing about like the cloning, but then it also has this like colonizer like type message to it, which is not like it is not unfamiliar to Bong Joon-ho. Like a lot of his movies have these other themes. I'm thinking of like Snowpiercer, uh, which is like obviously about like class class warfare and stuff. You have Parasite, similar themes of the wealthy elite, and like the class system. Oakjaw, which is about um, like the like food industry and like animal uh, like treatment. Uh, so it's like it's not unfamiliar to him. I just feel like we were trying to, and I haven't read the source material. I don't know the book, so I can't like say how much of the book is exactly like this or whatever. But I do feel like it kind of, I would say it's like a shotgun blast where it's like trying to hit as as many of these like talking points that he's got at one time, and it never kind of ideally like focuses on one. I guess the one that gets the most fleshed out is like this like cloning thing, because eventually they're just like, all right, we're done with the cloning. We voted against it.
Yeah, I do agree at times it almost felt like it was being preachy, but it was being preachy about about like the most sci-fi shit, which I don't know, to me was also just kind of funny, like in a way.
Yeah.
If you don't dive deep on it and you're just like, wow, we're being really philosophical about like cloning in outer space. Like this is if you picture it through that lens, it's kind of funny. No, I did not expect this to be as comedic as it was, even with kind of the underlying serious tones to it. Um, I will
I think the
say,
concept kind of it leans itself to it almost, like it being like, oh, Mickey 17, like he dies a bunch. Like I
yeah,
feel like that concept, like you're like, oh, like that's a little bit ridiculous. Like
yeah. I mean, in a sense, I would agree. I'll be honest. I think my biggest issue with this movie is that there were times where it felt like it very much dragged. That this
yeah, I
movie
don't
to
know if it
me,
needed to be 2 hours 14.
yeah. So I'm gonna give my dad a shout out here. His test of a movie is if he ever has to, uh, well, now with streaming it's a bit different, but like if he went to a theater to see a movie, to tell if a movie's good or not, did you ever check your watch during the movie? Did you ever look to see like unimmerse yourself from the movie and check to see what time it is like in the real world? Because if you did that, it wasn't a good movie. Now,
Yeah.
this is a movie that, again, I have two small children, so sometimes streaming a movie all the way through is not feasible. But there were times in this movie where I had hit pause and saw like the time bar and only moved like 15 minutes, and I was like, it feels like I've been sitting here for
No.
45 and it's been 15. I feel like a lot of the exposition on how Mickey got there, like the time that he is in flashback with just the voiceover, was just
Yeah, the narrator voiceover
just
from
show it
Mickey's.
just show it in chronological order. Don't have a voiceover telling me what's happening. Just show it. It made it feel like it just kind of dragged with that scene, especially, and it was just like, my God, we still haven't gotten him. We still haven't gotten back to him thinking he's going to be eaten by the monsters yet.
Yeah, which also like the I don't know, like it was just kind of like I get we're getting some exposition through that, but then like him talking about like going to be an expendable, and then there's the woman who he likes her hair, and then it's like, uh, you know, we get that exposition of like, oh, I've got to drain my memories, and then he like finds out that like, or he like relives that memory of like his mom dying, and we get that scene where she like hands him the gun and stuff, but like I don't know, it does feel like it drags a bit there, because like you're saying, like it's all just told to you through narration, um, and like we don't even like know too much. You don't have to tell me everything about the world, but you know, it's like, oh, well, they're kind of in this like normal town on Earth, but then there's also supposedly like big sandstorms at some point.
Yeah, and that's a
Where
lot of it is like, are we in some sort of dystopian timeline? Are we very far in the future? Nothing seems like, I mean, outside of the whole space travel aspect of it,
yeah, it's only
nothing.
2050.
Okay. I also hate when movies do that shit where it's like, it's 2/3 whatever. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Just give me a timeline. Don't make it complicated. Give it to
Um,
me in some sort of unit of time I can understand.
yeah, um, yeah. I also feel like I don't know. I feel like kind of talking about setting up like Niflheim and stuff. We kind of drag a little bit. Um, I don't know. I just feel like when I think of stuff that I would take out, I do feel like they do give us a lot of back information that like isn't quite necessary. Do we need to know about Mickey 14 through 16 helping develop this vaccine, which actually seems like it wasn't the vaccine, it was like this gas, or is that something different? Uh, where he's like in that chamber.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could have been a little tighter. I didn't have that pause moment. I did have to pause in the middle just because my daughter was taking a nap, but I did have to pause and like I did look at the clock and I'm like, ooh, 54 minutes. It's like that did feel a little long. Um, but once it starts going, also okay, all right. Here's where I would tighten it up. Is the whole final sequence after they've killed the creeper and Mark Ruffalo's getting his big villain moments. I just feel like that dragged so long with like Nasha yelling at him and uh, the wife making the sauces. Like, what the heck is
Which
going
just
on?
seems
Like,
so like under it. Commit or don't. You know? It seemed like that was some sort of like half baked thing, and maybe it's very much expounded upon in the book. I feel like there's supposed to be more there with the whole sauce thing.
yeah.
It just seems like we kind of threw it in there because it's in the book, and then it was like, well, you know the sauce thing. She's always doing her sauces, and it's like, uh, is it supposed to be like, we know Mickey's afraid to try the one because like he's worried it might be like poison, but like, is there other times that we're supposed to see her like experimenting with the sauces and making it out of other gross shit other than just like the tail?
I
I
don't
feel like we're
know. I
supposed
mean,
to
at the
get
end, I
more
assume
out of
it's
that.
blood, right? Like when he's having that bad dream.
Oh, I believe. Yeah, I'm thinking it's supposed to be like, yeah, human blood, for sure.
Um, yeah, I was just, I don't know. yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to like really sit down and like think about this movie too much. Like I don't know, because it's kind of like straightforward. I don't know, like what like there wasn't this big philosophical question. I feel like it was kind of explained to you, you know, like it wasn't like, oh, this scene, there's the underlying tones are that we're invading blah blah, you know. It was like Nasha literally says we're the fucking aliens. Like we're on their planet. And I'm like, all right, yeah,
It
that's
seems very much spoon-fed.
yes.
Like, hey, in case you don't understand what's happening in this part of the movie, it is X, Y, and Z. There you go. Now you get it. It's like, again, show me, don't tell me. I kind of understand from the fact that the little creepers don't kill Mickey, that like, hey, maybe they're not little shits. Maybe they're good. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh my god, no, you don't get it. We're the bad guys. It's like, well, yeah. That's the point of every movie where someone goes into a different planet and thinks they're the heroes conquering other people. I've seen Avatar. I get it.
I do.
Yeah,
This review over on Letterboxd, a person said that thought it had some unexpected twists, particularly with the multiples. Everything was just a little over the top and Starship Trooperish. Which I was like, you know what, I kind of feel that.
Yeah.
They said Mark Ruffalo was a bit of a cartoon and Toni Collette overplayed her role, but Pattinson was good in all of his forms. But overall, it was just fine. And I do like that they differentiated between the Mickeys, like that there was like
I liked that it seemed like every Mickey felt kind of different. I give Pattinson credit because it did feel like throughout watching the movie you could see kind of the subtle differences of each Mickey not being 100% the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, our biggest taste of that is 17 and 18 together in the same room, but it is nice that there is like subtle differences and they're not just the same person, especially like putting those two together where one is kind of like not necessarily like weak and feeble, but kind of like a pushover. He's more passive. So, and then the other one, yeah. And then the other one is like a hard ass who's like, I'm going to kill these people because they've betrayed us, and this guy is rude to you, and he almost killed you, you know?
This guy's not your friend. Let's murder him. All right.
Also, I'm going to murder you because you're me, and you should be dead.
You're me, but the kind of me I don't like, so gotta go.
I do love the backstory about the dude who, like, founded the cloning, where he's like a psychopath who like killed homeless people.
Yeah, he was killing people, and then he gets caught, but what they don't realize is there's a third.
Yeah. That is I guess not necessarily that I like that, but like it is a interesting and cool like plot device to think about. Like,
oh yeah,
I feel like you could have a whole movie about that.
100%.
That whole thing, like, because yeah, it's like that's a really
that's something I've never really thought of before.
Yeah, like that's a really well thought out idea that you could go commit the crimes, have your alibi because you were here, but then it's your clone is. I'm sure somebody has done that in a movie. I just haven't seen it, but that is a really good idea. Ben, is there anything else? I don't know.
No, like I said, I feel like I really wanted to like this movie, and I did, enjoy it for the most part, but it felt like a slog at times, and I was like, I was trying to picture myself like being in a theater to see it, and I feel like there would have been times where I would have been like, my God, how much longer is this fucking movie? That if I would have had a watch, and I would have been like, okay, it's, whatever o'clock, and he's about to get eaten by the monster. Now we're starting the flashback to the very beginning of how we got here. And then it's like, literally, it feels like half the movie is in flashback.
I don't think it's that much. It might feel like that, but
It feels it. And then it's like, okay, well, think about it. We see the beginning. He's in the cave, about to get eaten.
mm-hmm.
Then we go through all of this exposition in that, and it feels like realistically, by the time he comes back, we're into the replicant or multiples part of the movie. The multiples part of the movie isn't the majority.
All right, so the part, oh god. All right, so where we cut back to the point of the opening shot. It goes from up to 4.5 minutes of runtime, and then to 32 minutes. So there's almost 30 minutes of backstory exposition leading up to the point from the beginning of the movie to get to the cold open.
That's too much.
Yeah.
It's too damn much.
Well, and then even then though,
But
you get to
I
the
feel
point.
like more flashback after that.
Yes, I was about to say he gets hit with the weight in the back of the head. We flash back to the multiples, and then it's them fighting each other. And then as he's leaving there, he gets to go to the dinner. We watch the whole cringy, awkward fucking dinner. The dinner takes, oh my god, how long is this? The dinner takes almost 10 minutes. We get the weird scene with Kai where she gives him the tea and wants to bang him. We get the threesome. Then there's the whole Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon bit with the giant rock. I think that's it for the flashbacks.
But I mean, that's still a giant chunk of the movie. And again,
okay, so here's what I'm saying.
Here's
what I'm saying.
Slow going through that.
The
Like, it would be one thing if it felt like it moved at a quick pace, but it doesn't.
All right. So from the point where they get in the room and Toni Collette cuts off the tail for the creeper, that is 1 hour and 31 minutes into the movie. And the final sequence until credits is 2:08. Oh, sorry. Here we go. He blows himself up. Blah 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 blah. All right. So yeah, it takes almost 30 minutes for the fucking final scene.
Like I said,
I don't know. It drags a bit, man. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like one where I was like, it wasn't one of those movies where you're like, oh, this flew by. That was an easy 2 hours. I was kind of like, all right, when are we going to get to the point where, like, it took them forever to get out there in the cars to, like, shoot the mother and like piss off the creepers and stuff like that. I feel like that took forever. I don't know, man. I just want to read some of these lovely,
Oh, I was
lovely
just gonna point
Letterboxd
out
reviews
that
that
like it does seem, uh, I mean, Bong Joon-ho did maintain Final Cut privilege.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Feel like someone needed to come in there and be like, no, we need to cut some of this.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the I don't know the working process, but maybe needed a little bit more of like an editor or somebody kind of being like, all right, maybe like
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard in like film because like you don't necessarily have like an editor like you do with a book. Whereas
yeah,
like in a book, you write the whole book and then someone reads it and is like, you should take out this chunk, you should take out this chunk. Like film is kind of the opposite process where you have someone who cuts it all together and then the director or the producers or whatever come in and it's like, yeah, well, we want this a little longer. Like it's kind of the reverse process of writing a book, and so like sometimes that for the better or worse, I'd rather have Bong Joon-ho's final cut than get some butchered piece from
Warner
whoever,
Brothers.
and it ends up like,
Ayo.
yeah, and it
Every
ends
movie
up like
Warner Brothers
Dune.
makes.
Yeah, ends up in
Oh,
like Dune, or it just ends up on like whatever the Acme Roadrunner movie is, where it just never gets released.
Batgirl.
Which supposedly it's going to get released eventually, the Acme Roadrunner one.
I had heard that there's, I don't know. I always hear like rumor that Warner wants to sell those characters, which
Yeah, I think so.
seems absolutely insane to me. But I don't know, man.
I think somebody else is releasing that movie though.
Oh, I think they're selling the
If I'm
rights of the movie to be
oh
released, but there's talk that they
oh
want to sell like the whole catalog, and people are like, Bugs Bunny is supposed to be to Warner Brothers what Mickey Mouse is to Disney, and there's no way in hell Disney would ever let go of Mickey Mouse.
yeah, but when's the last time Warner Brothers made anything Looney Tunes?
Well, that's not the Looney Tunes' fault.
No, I just feel like
When's
they
the
also
last time
like.
Disney actually did anything with Mickey that wasn't like just a kid's cartoon?
I mean, they push that shit out though. Like, you have cartoons. They put out rides still at the parks. Like, just 5 years ago, they put out a new Mickey Mouse ride at Hollywood Studios. They took over the Great Movie ride. Now it's Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Yeah.
But like, it's I don't know. I guess, but they don't. Do they make new Looney Tunes stuff?
I mean, they just did the Roadrunner. I mean, Space Jam was technically Space Jam 2 was a
that's true.
Looney Tunes movie.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they've given up. They're like, shit.
Look,
We can't get the same magic.
look again. it's not the Looney Tunes' fault that Warner Brothers keeps them on a shelf and then dusts them off for stupid shit, and then goes, "Why isn't this working?" Oh my god, man. But yeah, I mean, not just that, but like even movies that Warner Brothers I feel like ends up releasing, they end up just butchering the edits of to the point where people who make the movies are like, this isn't what I wanted to make at all. This was not my vision. This was not it at all. Then after I turned in the final cut, the studio went through and recut it. Cough cough, David Ayer's Suicide Squad.
I just feel like they. I don't know.
But I do
You
wonder.
do have to like.
I also though wonder like how many what people would consider great movies, if you saw a director's cut, would you be like, maybe the studio was right on this one?
I don't know, Blade Runner. I've seen every cut of the Blade Runner. I feel like at this point.
Which one's
I've
the
seen
best?
whatever the final cut, man.
Oh God, I want to say it's Superman 2. I want to say maybe in the Donner cut that he just has in the original the original director's cut, he just has Superman fly around the Earth backwards again.
Yeah.
It was like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like what? What? What?
Ben, I wanted to read you some of these lovely letterbox reviews that I had found.
Okay.
This one is it's 4 stars from Lucia. It says the film equivalent of when you're like, who the hell is in my Google Doc, only to realize that it's you in a different tab. My current job already makes me want to kill myself anyways. Here's an actual review, but before that, busy movie fans everywhere can rest easy. I confirm that you do not have to watch the first 16 films to enjoy Mickey 17.
Oh God.
You're welcome. This one is a 3.5 stars. It says the anti-Trump film we deserve and might desire. Goofy as fuck, just like our times. Mickey 17 is a sci-fi satire covered as blockbuster, or the other way around. It's overly in your face that it'll alienate a lot of audiences that expect anything close to the tone of Bong's Oscar Enforcer. The Parasite follow-up is by no means an artistic house flick, or an art house flick, and therefore is now easier to understand why it couldn't enter Cannes or Venice last year, letting folks question its quality for months now. Bong doesn't hide his intentions here, making a crystal clear commentary about our political times, including a nonchalant case for socialism and environmentalism, as well as the state of mankind in general. So essentially running the whole marathon with the freedom he must have gotten after creating an Oscar winner. Robert Pattinson is a good choice for the double role of Mickey 17 and 18, between guilt-ridden, conscious, imprisoned Dumbo and a hedonistic, escalating Bogon. Mark Ruffalo, meanwhile, gives his best Trump impersonation, takes out the trash via an impeccable face game, with Toni Collette bringing her best comical verve along the way. Meanwhile, the love interests, Naomi Ackie and Anamara Bartolomi are able to get roles that have, while mostly positive, connotated some sort of ambivalence attached to it. In times that themselves have been a farce, it is not easy to create something caricaturing this, our current time frame. Bong's answer to that is to go full Monty and without a false bottom. If the shit hits the fan, you can just as well join in and throw a couple of excrements yourself.
Now, okay, again, I will say there were times where Mark Ruffalo felt Trump-ish, and then in other times felt completely not like Trump to me.
I will say, like, his characters, while others, I don't know. I feel like there's a couple ways of doing it. Like, obviously, the whole concept of this, like, some people called it like a cult or like this like religious organization because they're almost like hyper like super fans of this politician. But at least Mark Ruffalo's character seems like he is at least genuine about his religious beliefs, which trying to tread into not just going straight into the political discourse of like, I mean, I did write on my notes, I said, I wouldn't mind if a certain cult decided they want to go to Mars. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the character is slightly different than Trump, who we're trying to compare it to. There are mannerisms And maybe, I mean, I know Mark Ruffalo is a Democrat, so I feel like he did take some Trumpisms into this, but
Oh, I'm sure he did it
it
too. To
put a little farce on him. But
yeah,
uh, I do feel like sometimes, we might be putting some of this onto him as well, but it does feel like he is kind of like he took a little bit from him. Um, Even like the veneers that he has in like his mouth to like have these like different, like he's part almost like mega church preacher, part politician at times, I feel like.
yes, yes, part cult leader mixed with politician.
You're just saying that he's Trump. That's what you're saying there.
Yeah, but not like I said.
I'm
It's
saying
not
he's
like he
like
did a one
Joel
for one.
Osteen mixed
Yes,
with. You're
yes,
saying he's Trump. I'm saying he's Joel Osteen mixed with Trump.
I'm agreeing with you that he is. Yes,
Well, you said cult leader and politician, Ben, so that's where I'm confused.
Sorry, you're right. I forgot. Joel Osteen does not lead a cult.
Neither of us had seen this film before. So you're going to get two first impressions from the dads. Ben, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll let you go first. That's fine. I can
All right.
sit back.
Well, I it's hard for me. I feel like if you've listened to this whole episode to this point, I feel like you can already kind of tell that it's hard to like calculate a number for this movie. I think for me, um, I enjoyed it. I was super hype, and I feel like I set up these expectations, and the movie wasn't necessarily what I was expecting. Not that that's a bad thing. Um, and we had discussed that the movie felt like it dragged a little bit. It got a little long at points. And I feel like that would be the biggest griping point of this movie is that it does feel like all 2 hours and 14 minutes of it. Not, I think, like, I agree with some of the reviews that we said. Like, I think Mark Ruffalo doing this like Trump impression and Toni Collette with the sauces, and like I feel like they ham it up a little bit too much at times. Where like Mark Ruffalo is like almost playing like he's obviously playing a character, but like the character is almost like a caricature. Uh, at like towards the end when he becomes like hyper fixated on wanting to eradicate all these creepers and like becomes like a super villain with Nasha and like the take the rope with your mouth or whatever, and that shut her up, and I'm like obviously you're not like a nice guy, but like that just I feel like came out of nowhere with your Bond villain style trap. Like I think I love I love Nasha as a character. Like I love that she just is kind of just pure love for Mickey. Like it's not even that like it's anything in particular, but like she loves all versions of Mickey, and that like I feel like it would be weird at some point to like love someone who is constantly replicated, but just the way that she is like so devoted to him, and we see the scene where she like fights the scientists to get like the suit to go and be in there with Mickey as he's like dying that one time, and you're like, oh man. I think the actress, oh god, I don't have the list up. Oh god, hold on, I'll pull up the cast crew. 2 seconds. Naomi Aki does a really good job as Nasha. Robert Pattinson kills it, I think, as Mickey. Like we said, you can kind of feel the different Mickeys. It's really weird, like as somebody who likes Disney and talks to my daughter about Mickey all the time, to like talk about this movie, and I'm like disassociating when I'm like, oh, Mickey and Mickey and Mickey and Mickey, and I'm like, this is something different. But And yeah, um, I feel like I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. I feel like a 6 is too low because I feel like I'd be like, well, it was meh 6, but I enjoyed the movie. But I don't want to give it a 7 because I feel like a 7 is like my kind of my average, and I'm like, oh yeah, like 7 is pretty good, really good, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I feel it feels like a 6.5. I don't know. I want it, like you said, I wanted to like it more, and I just maybe I can watch it again and I'll appreciate it more, or I'll find something. I definitely like laughed and cringed, got all my emotions, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, I so much of this movie that I was like, oh, this is a cool concept, and like, conceptually everything was there. It just feels like things were disconnected, or I don't know, maybe it was just because of the production delay and everything else. This The best way I could describe the way I felt after this movie is it felt like a project that like you pick up and then you kind of put it away. And like after a couple months you pick it up again, but you're not 100% sure what your ideas were. So like you're trying to like quickly skim through what you've already done and then dive back in. And then after a little bit you're kind of tired of it, so you kind of put it back away, and then later on you get that itch and then you finally go through to finish it. It just seems like it felt like at times this movie was discombobulated, which again makes sense with how the production time was and everything else. Um, Robert Pattinson was. I'll be honest. Yes, from Batman. I didn't watch the Twilight movies, so I had no real gauge of his acting ability from that. I did not know comedically he would be as enjoyable as he was. Um,
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like it blew me, not blew me away, but watching the movie at times where I'm just like, yeah, this is the same guy who did the whole very dark emo-y Batman like a couple years ago, and it's like, huh, I guess so. Interesting. But then you're like, he's pretty funny. He's pretty good. I like the fact that he, like we said, he did something different, but at the same time, it never felt over the top. Like it never felt like he was being like hamming it up or trying to be overly comical. But I thought he was phenomenal in this movie. I had it at like a 6, and I was torn between a 5. But I just think the fact that something about this movie caught me that I enjoyed, so I'm gonna bump it up. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest, not a movie I'm gonna tell people like, oh, you've got to see it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be like if I know you and I know your taste, you might enjoy it. But also, it's a hard sell for me to be like, no, 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 you should watch this. You'd really enjoy it. It's only north of 2 hours. It's fine.
Also, looking at the credits list, that is not Jennifer. They did not clone her. There is a character on here called Kai's new girlfriend. So,
Oh, cool.
we were just being racist. There's another white lesbian with short hair.
I don't even remember seeing the. And I'm not. I didn't even pick up on the whole lesbian storyline.
What?
Did I miss that?
I felt like that was pretty obvious, but I mean, I think it's implied that Kai is like bisexual, but
Okay.
I did feel like there was like a chemistry between her and Jennifer because they're like at the one point when they're in the cave, they see something, right? I forget. Oh yeah, they see the like icicle, and
Yeah.
she like comes and like leans over her shoulder, and I was kind of like
Okay. I did not pick
shipped.
up on that. That's on me, I guess.
There was something else too. Like I think when they like sat down at the table, they were kind of like there was like something kind of
Mm.
like the first time like Kai is introduced. But I did it like when the in the cave was definitely I was like I feel like they're a couple or together because then when like she goes to the office and or to the dinner I think it was and
I know they said like
Mark
it's
Ruffalo's character.
especially hard for you.
Well, but I think it was kind of like when Marshall is like, "Oh, you be a very good breeder," or whatever the fuck he says, some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
When he's like, "Ah, yes, you'd be very good to for our
Our
race that we
breeding
want to
program
build
or
or something."
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of rubs her the wrong way, anyways, because like I feel like she's like, what? But I mean, more so than it would just if you were a heterosexual and somebody said, yes, you would be very good for our breeding program. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Excuse you? Huh? But yeah, I don't know. It's a movie I very much wanted to enjoy, but I can honestly say it did not. Even though I didn't have expectations going in, I got to the end of it and I was like, man, I feel like I should have enjoyed that more than I did.
Well, IMDb, it's a 6.8, and Letterboxd, it is a 3.6 out of 5. So it's a little over a 7 on Letterboxd and 6.8 on IMDb. So I feel like we're kind of siding more with the plebs of IMDb, not the true cultured cinema nerds of Letterboxd. So
Let's be honest. The people
if
on
you
Letterboxd saw the name of the director and immediately were like, "Oh, it's the greatest movie ever made." Ugh.
I hate people who pre-rate movies before they even see it.
Oh
Like
my god!
you're like that obsessed
there's
or hyped for a movie.
there's so many though that are just like, especially when they're like more of a indie-esque filmmaker that's coming out
Or
with
even
something.
like comic book nerds and shit. Like be like they cast the wrong person as Superman. I'm gonna rate this a 1 out of 10 on
Oh yeah,
IMDb before the movie even released.
yeah.
It's like
I'm gonna review bomb this movie so people won't even go see it. Why don't you give it a watch first, you fucking nerd?
I give this movie 5 stars because Bong Joon-ho never misses. Wow. I mean, that's fine. If you thought this was a perfect movie, good. I just don't think it is. I wanted to love it more, but if you enjoyed this film, I mean, hey, if you enjoyed this film, find us on Instagram and tell us about it. But if you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. And check us out next time as we do Mission Impossible since we already watched it. But
we're gonna do Mission Impossible 2, but not the movie. Just take 2 for us, because
as well
because one goob watched the wrong movie.
And yeah, as always, watch responsibly.